Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Delilah, Season 1, Episode 5. So we didn't have an episode last week, so we picking up where we left off, you guys. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, so you guys remember on the last episode, Leah's house was being broken into. As a matter of fact, the robber was still there when she walked in. So now Delilah has rushed it on over to the house. The house is ransacked. Okay, Leah looks disheveled, looks upset, sitting down as Delilah is looking through everything, all of the shit everywhere. The police are there. She's fussing at them because she wants them to go and check the Osborne offices for the things that was stolen, namely the laptop and the phone, which is the things that they wanted in the first place. They was like, you a lawyer, you know better. It don't just work like that. And besides, she could have even done this, okay? They point to Leah. Well, of course, Delilah ain't going for that. That's her client. And so, you know what? She's mad. She's indignant. You know what? You need to go and do your job. You know what I've learned about Delilah in these 5 episodes now? Delilah is kind of one of those ones who... Listen, we all know that Delilah most likely is right in the way that she feels, okay? That there is something fishy going on at Osborne, tactical and whatnots. But Delilah is quite the self-righteous and the type that if you don't go by what she says, she's mad. She stays mad at everybody. And like I said, even though she might be right in the way that she feels, you know, what did your mama tell you? It's always easier to catch flies with sugar than with vinegar. Okay, she's sour, she's mad, you know, anytime. I mean, she's mad at the cops. She's mad at her daddy. She's mad at her brother. She's mad at Tamara. She's mad at her baby daddy. Okay, and while all these people might deserve to be mad at, it's just like, girl, listen, you fussing and mad and cussing everybody out and telling them off and saying all these things. People not really inclined to do what you want them to do if you always going off on them, if you always mad at them. So, like I said, I kind of wish that Delilah would kind of, you know, she just needs to change up her approach to her righteousness and her rightness, okay? But so, yeah, anyway, you guys. So she fussing at him. They was like, what's your name? And she was just like, oh, now she's going to throw around that name, that well-known name, at least in the police department, Delilah Connolly, okay? Delilah Connolly, all right? Like Chief Connolly. All right, so now they're looking like, oh, God, one of these situations. Anyway, the cops finally get fed up with Delilah and they leave. So she's talking to Leah afterwards, and Leah's telling her how she left the house because she went to go meet with Tamara. Tamara had called her and wanted to talk to her about the case. And, you know, basically Tamara told her that they was going to give her one more chance at settling, and then it was going to be, you know, all guns blazing, and you wasn't going to have a chance to settle anymore and all that. So she went to that meeting with Tamara, and then when she got home, you know, that was going on. So she feels like Tamara got her out the house long enough for her to be robbed. Now, speaking of Tamara, she's at home with Mr. Perfect, the mayor. And she's frustrated because Delilah has already scheduled Osborne's deposition. Remember, she had Demetria do that. And she just kind of feels like Delilah she's just really making this case so insufferable because it doesn't even need to go here. She's clogging it up, is what she says, and she just wants to settle. So, you know, Mr. Perfect, the mayor, he's always trying to get her to, you know, see things Delilah's way, or, you know, at least them two trying to meet in the middle. You guys need to talk. And then, surprise, surprise, Delilah does call her. And Delilah is pissed. Okay, is Mr. Perfect, the mayor, there? And she says, yes, he's in the other room. She's like, well, you need to come down so we can talk. All right. Well, Tamara says fine. So she goes downstairs, and Delilah is mad that Tamara had Leah come and meet with her. And you didn't even talk to me about it. You know, I'm her lawyer, you know. And then while she was out there meeting with you, her house gets robbed. And guess what they took? The laptop and the phone. Okay. And of course, Delilah is blaming Osborne Tactical. Or maybe possibly Win Lockley. You know, Tamara's just like, you think Fred did this? And she was just like, I don't know, but you need to ask them. All right. Tamara's like, I mean, I'll talk to everybody, but, you know, that's not really my style. I'm not going to have no house robbed. Just try. Yeah, I mean, I can check for you. You know, Delilah's all huffed up, and I said, girl, you're going to give yourself a fucking heart attack. Now, Tamara's mind is kind of still on the wedding. Now, she just got engaged last episode. I mean, we really moving ahead with this. I mean, it's not even going to be a year, it looks like, before she gets married. They're already with the plan. So Tamara's like, I mean, you all mad? Are we still on for lunch? And, now Delilah has to group. And she says, yes, we still are. Because Delilah, remember, is the maid of honor. I don't know how they gonna plan this wedding with all this shit going on, but I guess. Now, jumping over to baby daddy Gordon, we see him and his girl, and they all post-coital. They just had a good session, I suppose. And, she gets up, she's getting dressed. Oh, where you going? Okay, she gotta go and check on this place to stay. Remember, she's going to be homeless if she isn't already. And remember, Gordon don't want her to move in with him, okay? So she's just real pissed with him. I said, girl, you done got you some, and now you going off on she was just like, did you say all those nice things about me and how you couldn't live without me? Did you mean that when you said it? And he was like, yes, of course I did. And she was just like, well, why aren't you fighting to keep me? All right. Now, we done been together for about a damn year now. You ain't trying to let Delilah know that we together. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be staying. It seems like that would be the next order of business for us to, me to move in here. And you're not trying to do that. And he was just like, well, I'll talk to Delilah. And she's still just like, you're going to talk to Delilah, and then she going to be mad and say the kids can't come or some bullshit like that. And then I ain't going to be able to move in here either. So what is it that you want? I'm always going to be a student to you. Okay. And I was like, oh, Gordon, was you riding the car around the high school? You probably wasn't doing it like that, but I was like, is this a college student that's supposed to be in the yards? And you up here, child, what is this? She fed up with Gordon. And so she was just like, you know what? I'm going to make things easier for you. All right. I'm out. And she leaves. Now, speaking of dissension in relationships, we also see Nate. Nate calls his mean-ass wife, Christine, and he wants her to come by tomorrow, because he has a romantical dinner all set up for them, And she just like, what time? He was tomorrow evening. All right, I'll try to get there by 8 o'clock. He's like, great. Now, he don't know how to read the room, baby. He don't understand that Christine is aggravated in her voice, okay? Everything is yes, no. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, and then when she hangs up the phone, Nate is all excited. His woman is coming down tomorrow, and honey, she turned around and snuggled up to Debo in the bed with her. I said, that Christine gonna get hers. Now, jumping back over to Delilah. So, she's frustrated about what's happening with Leah. So now she got to hightail it over to Chief Connolly's house. Okay, he out there working on the yard, and here she go, no nostrils flared. She aggravated again, and she tells him about the break-in, and she wants him to put some pressure on it, because she feels like Fred Osborne Tactical, Win Lockley, somebody is behind this shit. Okay, he need to put the people on it. He need to investigate. It's funny how she don't want nothing to do with the daddy, but then she trying to use her connections with the daddy and put the pressure on the daddy to do all of these things for her when she's just always mad at him. Like I said, honey, vinegar or sugar? So while she fussing at him, Chief looking at her like she crazy. And she was just like, well, maybe it'll, you'll think differently when you know that Nate's injury might be connected to this case. Basically, these radios might be the reason why Nate is injured like that. And he was like, you have proof of that? And she was like, I have this. And so she shows him some files. And he was like, where'd you get these files from? Okay, are these from Gary's wife? And she was just like, listen, all I'm telling you is Osborne Tactical or somebody is covering up something, and we need to get this checked out, because look at the reports. Nate's report is different than the one that he got, is different than the one that the Army got. It's all signed by this same person. And that's some shit right there. And he was just like, look, if you was going to do your lawyer-like work, you would let Gary's wife know that she needs to turn over these files to the police, okay? Because otherwise she's going to get an obstruction of justice charge on her. So, yeah, you need to get all of this out your person, and you need to make sure that she gets it to the police. And then maybe Chief Connolly will put the squeeze on Osborne. So maybe that'll help old sour-ass Delilah. So later on that evening, we see her. She's at home. She's playing cards and having wine with Mr. Mason. She's kind of discussing the case with Mason, saying how it's ironic that Leah didn't even bring the laptop and the phone by the office for them to clone, So she's still kind of not really sure what to think about Leah. She's frustrated about her relationship with her daddy. And we kind of find out that from her conversation with Mason that somewhere along the line when her father left her mother, then shortly after that, the mother died. So somehow Delilah blames the father for the mother dying. All right, so that's why it seems like maybe she has ill feelings towards her father. Anyways, you guys, Mason and Delilah still have this flirty banter back and forth, you know, something that is keeping Delilah from going forward with, you know, he kind of invites her out, you know, on a date, and she's just sort of like, good night, Mason. So, but she kind of always has him around, and it's always this real comfortableness between the two of them. So like I said, I don't know if they've had a relationship in the past or not, but something is there. Next morning, Tamara goes over to Win Lockley's office, and she wants to know, you know, she's talking to Win Jr., and she was just like, hey, Delilah got with me yesterday, told me that they broke into the house, Leah's house. They took the laptop at the phone, like, you know, did Fred do this? And of course, Win Jr. is going to tell her no. He just wants to know if Leah's ready to settle. And of course, she's not ready to. I mean, Leah probably is ready to settle, but Delilah ain't. Well, look, it's the first that he's heard of it. Actually, he doesn't even deny it. He just says it's the first that he's heard of it. And while he's talking to Tamara, then here comes his old uppity secretary to let him know that Win Sr. would like to talk to him. So, I mean, I guess he can ask Win Sr. Or you can ask him yourself, Tamara. All right, I'm sure he'd love to talk to you. Well, Tamara ain't gonna go talk to Win Sr. now, is she? Back at Delilah's office, now she realizes that she's got to get these files back over to Gary's wife, and Gary's wife needs to turn the files over to the police. So she tells her assistant Demetria that make sure you put the files back in the exact order that you had them. Also, make sure there's no fingerprints on them or anything, nothing that's going to tie it to us. And she was just like, why are we about to turn this over to police? Yep, that's exactly what we're about to do. And you guys, the assistants still don't get along. I'm not quite sure why this, what's her name, Harper? I'm not sure why she doesn't like Demetria. Yes, she's very eccentric. And she probably is a little bossy. She probably kind of overbearing, takes over a little bit, but she still doesn't seem like she's done anything to Harper herself. So now I'm starting to not like Harper, because I'm just like, girl, you gonna have to give us a reason. I mean, because if the girl want to have her damn flowers out because there's no sun, like, what's the problem? How is that affecting your life? You know, I think she's territorial. She's been working there. It's just been her and Delilah. You know, now she's got to get used to this new girl. But it's just sort of like, the way it's written, do you guys not want us to like Harper? Or, I mean, is that her name? Whatever her name is. Do you not want us to like her, or do you want us to like her? Because there's really no reason for her to be so funky with the girl. So the whole time when she's looking like she's complaining, I just want to be like, girl, get the fuck over it. Now, jumping over to Nate. Nate is excited. He's working with his therapist. I'm assuming that's his therapist, who is trying to help him, I guess, get acclimated to doing things for himself, more independent and whatnots. But so Nate is trying to really take on to that. You know, the therapist is trying to help him get dressed. He's like, no, I want to get dressed myself. You know, he's telling his therapist how, I'm not sure if he's a therapist or if he's just an assistant there, but he's telling them how he's going to have his wife there tomorrow. You know, they're going to I guess that day, later on that day, they're going to have dinner. He's got it all planned out, you know, and the assistant is over there is just sort of like, well, good luck with that. I mean, he don't say that, but he kind of got this look on his face like, hey, bro, I sure hope it works out for you. But he kind of already know. Because Christine probably ain't been down there but 1 or 2 times. So he probably... Hell, everybody in there might think Delilah is his damn wife. She probably down there way more than Christine is. Not probably, I'm sure. So everybody down there know Christine full of shit. But anyway, Delilah, she gets a call from baby daddy. Baby daddy Gordon want to have a talk with her later on, you know. And she's annoyed, of course, but fine. You can come on by later. All right. Now, she already annoyed with baby daddy Gordon. Now she got to meet with Tamara. Okay, we having this lunch, supposed to be talking about the wedding. And Tamara's just sort of like, oh, you know, this table that we have. I mean, did they know that it was us when you booked it? And she said, well, they knew it was me. Okay. So the unspoken word was, okay, you ain't got no pull around the town. Because, honey, when Tamara books their lunches at this certain restaurant, they always get a booth. and Tamara's missing her booth. Okay, they in a table in the middle of nowhere, kind of off to the side, you know, just killing her vibe. But whatever, let's try to talk about this wedding and whatnots. But everybody is kind of uncomfortable and it's weird, right? She's telling her about where the venue is going to be. Evidently, Mr. Perfect, the mayor, has pulled some strings for it to be on Easter weekend at some place that's almost impossible to get. And, you know, she was like, don't judge me. And even though Delilah is kind of giving her the side eye and she does feel like she's being judged, she's like, no judgment, you know. So we can already see that there's a shift, all right, in the friendship. These two are not really seeing eye to eye, you know. Delilah being the not struggling, but, you know, the lawyer that has her own firm, so she doesn't have all of these, not even a firm, her own office, so she doesn't have all of these, you know, all these, what is the words that I'm looking for? All of this poo-foo, shoo-shoo stuff that she can do like Tamara, because she's not at this big firm and well-known and, you know, who's and whatnots. So there's always some weirdness there, like I said. But you know what Delilah want to know, all right? She's still frustrated about what happened at Leah's, you know, and she basically asked Tamara, did you talk to Wynn? And when she means Wynn, she means both of them, the daddy and the son, about this break-in, you know. And Tamara says that she did. And Delilah knows that she's lying. You might have talked to the son, but you ain't talked to the daddy. So now Delilah's like, you don't care if Nate stays in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, you know. And the reason why is because of the army. You don't care about them. You don't care about them at all. Well, of course, Tamara's upset about that because that is not true. And while this wedding lunch continuously goes downhill, finally Tamara says, Delilah, you have crossed the line. All right. She ain't got to sit here and be insulted by you. And, you know, shit, she got better things to do back here in the corner and by the kitchen. Shit. So she gets up, she leaves $100 bill on the table, and she walks out. And you know, Delilah is just real frustrated. So yeah, so far Delilah has managed to piss off the cops, the daddy, and Tamara. Okay, so she goes on home. Later on that evening, you know, she's dealing with them kids, you know, and her son and Dion, you know, trying to put them to bed. Them laughing about whatever, you know, his son lying about what he's been doing, whatever. All right. Then there's a knock at the door, and it is baby daddy Gordon. And Delilah's just sort of like, nigga, what you want? You know, and first he wants to go and say goodnight to his children. So he goes on upstairs, and I'm supposing he goes and tells the son and I guess Dion, just on default because Dion is in there, you know, good night. And then when he comes out the room, he's about to go to talk to Delilah, and the daughter comes out. You know, Dad, I was just wondering if I can talk to you for a second. And he was like, sure. Okay, so he goes in the room with her. So we don't know what they talk about, but when he comes down the stairs finally later, you know, Delilah's like, you been up there all this damn time? Like, what you over here for? What you want? Well, here comes the time. He already know this ain't gonna be good, but he was like, Delilah, you know, me and whatever the girl's name is, we seeing each other again. And she was just like, I was just like, girl, I mean, yes, I mean, I guess if she was the one that broke you up, you would still be annoyed about that. But girl, I mean, did you not think that the man was going to go on with his life? So he was just like, yeah, so we're seeing each other again, and she might be moving in with me. And she was just like, my children will not be coming over that house with that woman in the house. And he was just like, Delilah, you cannot say that. And she was just like, well, are you going to tell your kids how you met? Are you going to tell them, you know, that she was your student? And he was like, Delilah, she was a grown-ass woman when we got together. Still don't matter. You were her professor. She was your student. You know, you took advantage of her. You know, you just don't care. You don't care how much that already hurt me. That already did damage to me. And now here you go twisting the knife. He was like, Delilah, I'm just trying to be happy. And she was just like, is that why you were upstairs so long? Were you up there telling the kids about her already? He says, no, Delilah, I was upstairs talking to our daughter because she wants to go on I don't know what it is. It has to do with her camp. I mean, her violin, some sort of camp or something. Conservatory, whatever it was. But she wants to go to Philadelphia, and she wants to go. And he says that he would be okay with it, but we need to talk to Delilah as well. So that is actually why he was upstairs talking. But, you know, Delilah's still aggravated. So he's just like, I'm going to leave now. And she was like, you know what? We are going to have a long talk with the kids before they come back over there, you know, with that woman woman. And he was like, no, we're not, Delilah. He walked out the door, and Delilah again. Now we done add baby daddy to that list. Now, let's talk about this romantical dinner that the brother is having for Christine. So, you know, he's all, you know, nice in his outfit, and Christine is there, and she just sort of like this. He's sitting across the table for him. You know, he's got his flowers and vase and food and all of this, you know, the lights dim, candles. She barely picking at her food. She says she's not hungry. He says, well, I got something for you. And she was just like, what? And he was like, come over here, you know. So she walks over, and he's got something covered. He pulls the cover off of it, and it's a puzzle of Niagara Falls. And he was like, you know, I always promised that I was going to take you to Niagara Falls. And she was just like, well, I mean, are you going to be able to go? I mean, you know, with you in this wheelchair and everything, like they don't have ramps at public national parks and things. But Christine, as far as Christine is concerned, she was just like, are you even going to be able to do this? And he was just like, yeah. Like, I promised that I was going to take you. I still want to do all these things. He was like, listen, Christine, I know it's really tough and, you know, things have happened and all, but I really wanted to work. I wanted to work for you and me and our family. And she was just like, well, Nate, I ain't going to be able to do this. And he was like, you're not going to be able to do what? I mean, and he was so surprised and shocked, as if everybody ain't been, well, not everybody. Delilah ain't been trying to tell his ass that Christine is not for you no more. Okay. What? I said, oh, God, not another which way did they go, George? And here we thought we was rid of Jacob. He was like, what do you mean? And I was just like, oh, my God, do we need to spell it out for you? We probably do. Somebody get the chalkboard. Okay, it's going to be a long night. Now, the Chief Connolly had gotten a phone call from somebody. We didn't know who it was, but the person was like, you know, we can meet and just kind of talk about old times. But, you know, it kind of had a little bit of a sinister spin to the call. We didn't know who it was, but Chief Connolly was looking like, oh, all right, we'll meet later. So now later is here, and he's meeting them off, look like some wharf or something. You know, it's dark and it's like a damn dock, and it's, you know. Anyway, Chief Connolly was like, why do we need to meet here? And it's his old partner, Paul. And Paul was just like, yeah, you know, I just thought that we could talk about old times here, that this would be, you know, kind of a place of nostalgia. Well, no. What do you want? So he tells Chief Connolly that, yeah, this case that Delilah got going on with Leah and Osborne Tactical and everything is just kind of getting real dicey. Osborne Tactical was going to give the police department these body armor, going to supply it to every single police officer there. So, you know, we can't be affording to get an Osborne Tactical upset about this. You know, when everything is about to go through. This is not a good look, okay? And long story short, Paul kind of threatens Chief Connolly, you know, and he's a big, tall, strong man, and he doesn't take too well to threats, but he also has gotten the picture, okay? Everything is clear. He understands what's what. Finally, the man says, you know, you better be careful, because when shit like this goes too far, that's when people get hurt. And Chief Connolly ignores him and gets in the car. Also that night, Tamara's at home. Her and Mr. Perfect, the mayor, they trying to, you know, do the seating chart. Like I said, full steam ahead on this wedding seating chart, talking about the wedding and everything, but she's distracted, and Mr. Perfect, the mayor, knows that. You know, you need to call her. You guys need to talk. You guys need to... Okay? How long we got to be calling and talking? All right? When we gonna finally realize that maybe we just don't need to be friends right now while we try to do this case? You know, so she's saying that she's not gonna call her. You know, not the way that she was acting, telling me that I don't care about Nate, I don't love him or whatever. Like, no, she needs to call me. At the same time, Delilah is at the house with Mason again. And she's talking about what happened with her and Tamara as well. She knows that Tamara's lying. And he was like, look, I'm going to go on and call her so that, you know, you guys can talk. And she was like, no, don't do that. And he just pulls out his phone. She's like, you better not do that, Mason. Okay, I said, Mason, don't get added to the shit list. Okay, because, listen, Delilah ain't got too much patience for nobody these days, so just get out of it. All right, he's like, damn, all right, I'm going to leave it alone. It's just that you guys were like sisters back in the day. Now you got this wedding coming up. You supposed to be in it. Everything is kind of weird. But fine, I'll leave it alone. Hell, I was just trying to help. But it seems that Delilah does listen to Mason, and next thing we know, Tamara gets a call from Delilah. Tamara's happy about that. You know, thanks for calling, Delilah. All right. So then she admits, I did lie. I did not talk to Wynn Sr. about the break-in. Delilah, but you just don't understand what I'm up against. You don't understand what goes on in my office. You just don't know what all needs to be done here. I need this case to be done. All right. I don't want to be going on and on about this. I do love Nate and I want it to all work out for him, but the facts are not there. You haven't even made your case. So instead of going around and cussing everybody out and being mad all the time, then make your case. Like, let's get this going so it can be done. I can't keep going back and forth about this. Okay. It is killing me. And I don't want to be dead, basically. So we need to do something here. It ain't working, So now Delilah's got that dejected look on her face, kind of looking like there's some regret there, kind of realizing that their friendship has made a turn. Delilah was like, do you still want me to be your maid of honor? I mean, do we need to take a beat? And Tamra, doesn't fight for it. So obviously she was looking for this break, didn't want to be the one to say it, but she tells Delilah, you know what, maybe we do need to take a beat. Like maybe I need it. Like right now just ain't good, So then she says, you're always going to be my sister. And she says, yes, I know that, but I don't even know, is the friendship going to survive all of that? Everybody's crying and everything, but I'm just thinking to myself, like, I mean, it was inevitable. The getting married in the middle of this case that Delilah is so passionate about, and Tamra only wants to be a partner. It was bound to turn out this way. Now, next day at the office, Delilah's there. She's talking to Demetria. And she's like, how are you and Harper? And of course, Demetria knows that she's like, oh, is she upset because of the plants? Like, I mean, if you would put some windows in this broom closet you call an office, then I wouldn't have to use her windows for the plants. Delilah is still trying to figure out how she can make Demetria and Harper work together. And then Harper comes in there and tells her that the chief is there. She's looking at him with disdain, and he tells her that it's not going to work. Okay, trying to put the squeeze on Osborne and all that because Osborne Tactical is about to give the whole police department body armor. And right now is not going to be a good time of trying to, so that little angle that you got is not working. So of course she's mad now. Oh, you know what? I knew you were going to do this. Everything is your work. Your work comes before your kids and your family. Your work means more than anything. So she going off on him. I mean, that daddy gonna never be able to live down the fact that he left the mother and the mother died, okay? So while she fussing at him, Harper comes in and she was just like, Delilah, all right? And right behind her on her heels are the police. And they say, Delilah, you are, being arrested. And, Chief Connolly was like, what is this? I didn't order this. And he was like, yeah, this is orders. And we got to do this. Chief Connolly tries to tell him to stand down, but they was like, nothing doing, Chief. Sorry about it. But you under arrest for obstruction of justice. Of course, it's about them files, not obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence. So she's getting read her Miranda rights, and Demetria walks in front of him and is like, I'm her lawyer. And they was like, that's fine. You can be her lawyer and everything, but we still got to read her these rights. All right. So Delilah is standing there and, she's in trouble. Like I said, even though we believe that Delilah is right, all right, and she probably has reason to be, so passionate about this case, she's going to change her approach a little bit. Delilah ain't nobody's favorite around town these days. All right, you guys, I got to get back to work. All right, lunch break is just about over. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right, I haven't been updating my bottom bar lately in the last week or two, but I'll get all that caught up. Okay, anything you want to know is down there. All right, so let me get on. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.